Hi, welcome to Gifted at Heart. My name is Nina, and I help parents and teachers understand and support gifted children. Whether you're a parent navigating your child's unique needs or a teacher looking to support high ability learners, you'll find strategies, tools, and encouragement to help gifted students thrive. Today, we're diving into 5 early signs that your child might be gifted. I'll be really focusing in on that preschool, kindergarten, and early elementary ages. Giftedness isn't just about academic performance. A lot of times, it's about how a child thinks, feels, and even experiences the world. It's important to remember that every child develops at their own pace, and gifted doesn't necessarily mean better, it just means that they have different needs. So, some signs that we'll be looking at today aren't just one time occurrences, but these are patterns that you'll notice as your child grows up. So, let's dive in. The first sign is deep curiosity. Gifted children are constantly exploring how, why things work. They might see details that others miss, and they notice patterns really easily. They're really curious about things. This might look like a child that takes apart toys to see what's inside or to see how it works. They might ask for books or to watch videos on certain topics that are kind of complex, like outer space or dinosaurs. At this age, if you see your child doing these types of things, don't rush to just give them answers. Encourage open-ended exploration. The second sign is they might have an advanced vocabulary or communication skills. They might use really big words, complex sentences, and they'll be able to communicate ideas beyond what a kid their age would normally be able to do. They might also remember things really easily. This might look like a 5-year-old directly quoting a big section of a movie or a book they read recently. Now, there is a caveat with this one because sometimes gifted children might actually be really quiet or reserved. So for this, don't really look at how often they speak, but how they express their ideas. If they're all of a sudden quoting from a movie that they like, you might need to look out for that. Sign number 3. They are going to ask endless questions. And no, it's not just a phase. These are going to be deep, persistent questions that are complex that even adults might wrestle with. So they might ask questions about how things work or why things happen, and they're trying to make sense of their world. They might ask questions like, why do people tell lies? Or what happens when we die? They might ask those questions as early as pre-K or kindergarten. So teachers, parents at this age, don't shut it down. Use these moments to explore critical thinking together and think about what might happen or how can we answer these questions in an age-appropriate way. Sign number 4 is emotional sensitivity. A lot of times gifted children have really strong emotions and they get deeply affected by things that other kids might overlook. Sometimes they're described as being intense. They might become upset over injustices, or if they hear a sad story on the news, they might become overly upset about it. Let's say they hear about a natural disaster that happened in a different state. They might be really sad about it and might want to donate part of their allowance to support the victims. With this, try not to avoid these emotional feelings and deep feelings that they're experiencing, but instead teach them to regulate their emotions and to manage their emotions. They're going to feel deep things, and it's important for us to help them manage it. Sign number 5 is they have a strong sense of justice or fairness. So these students are very aware of rules, fairness, and ethical behavior, oftentimes more than their peers. They might call out unfair treatment. They might question rules that don't make sense to them. This might look like questioning authority, and these all really show good critical thinking. Encourage discussion about fairness with nuance. It's a really good sign of moral development. These are great ways to continue that conversation with the kids that you're working with. These list of 5 things and 5 signs to look for is not a definitive list. These are just the 5 common ways that it shows up in kids ages 4 to 8. This might be a child that prefers to talk to adults. Sometimes they might have a really active imagination and be really good storytellers. They might also be displaying leadership skills by being strong-willed or bossy. So, if you're seeing any of these signs, here's what you can do. Keep observing and documenting these behaviors. These are patterns that you're going to want to talk to teachers, school counselors, anyone else who works with your child. You want to keep in contact with them and see if they're noticing the same types of patterns. Gifted kids often think differently, they feel deeply, and they ask a lot of questions. And the key is to support them where they are. If this sounds like it might describe your child or your student, hit subscribe and join a growing community of families and educators who work with gifted children. Have you seen any of these signs in your child or student? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.